where we are going to be climbing up to floor 50. So, because this is going to be really scary, I'm going to need my full nasty squad at the ready. Because if I don't, I'm going to get wrecked. Now, there is a nastier squad I think I could prepare, but I'm going to put Kale in there so that people know that this was actually a free-to-play account, even though it doesn't look it, because I've put in an entire year of effort, daily effort, to do what I've done. Like, it takes a lot to do what I did. And despite this, you know what the worst part is? After a year, I haven't cleared the tower. My personal best is floor 89. After that, the game basically kills me. Somehow, with some boss, typically. And it sucks. But hopefully, this time, or sometime, I'll get over that and win. And beat the tower. But yeah, it takes a lot to get to these 6 stars. Like, I've been leveling champs for like a year to get there. Alright, so we cleared that. Got 150k silver. Where are we at? Yeah, I have to get to floor 50. If you're still watching. You still watching, or am I boring you? Because I hope I'm not boring you. Because I'm climbing to a very nasty floor. Because here's the thing. The nastiest part is not these waves. The waves are just the way in with this Krisk. And if you're wondering, I don't own a Krisk. Because the game just is like, no, screw you. You haven't spent enough money or enough shards to get a Krisk, or you're not lucky enough to get a Krisk, or both. Like, just the game does not want me to have a Krisk. Or a Mashald, because I really want a Mashald. The game's like, no, you're not having a Mashald. Good luck with that. I'm like, okay, cool. Okay, good. Good. See, that turn meter compression is what keeps them under control. They can't do a heck of a lot because of that. Deacon is often my ticket to the higher floors because it stops the enemy from doing a heck of a lot. Because the main thing is you don't want your opponents from doing a lot. So hopefully I can get to the boss. The boss is a nightmare. In fact, it's such a nightmare, I have to take Kale out. When I actually get to the boss, I have to really try hard. Because the boss is special. To say the least. You'll see why when we get there. Now, the boss is special enough that I actually have to make a different setup when I get there. You'll see why when we get there. Because floor 50, I have never beaten floor 50 of this rotation. Ever. If I beat this floor 50, I will be making history. I will be the first person in my clan to clear that floor. So that's why this is a big moment for me in this game. And yes, I did just one-shot a Elder Scarg, but that's because, like, Rosin, people underestimate Rosin because he's a legacy legendary. He's still a very good legendary. He can still one-shot people. Like, he's not a joke. He's not a void legendary. He's not the rarest type of legendary, like Yakarl is. But he's a good legendary. He's hard to get, though, because you have to do a terrible fusion to get him the way I got him on this account. Because I bothered. I actually bothered to do his fusion on this account. I mean, I don't regret it. But what I regret is telling other people that it's worth to do the fusion. That's what I regret. Because then that means that they have to do the same thing I did to get him. Which I kind of don't wish. I don't really wish the Rosin fusion process on even my worst enemies. But I can tell you, if you do beat the Rosin fusion process, you get an amazing champion. Okay, I'll have to just end that and check where my game volume is. Because I remember... Oh, the second one? Okay. I gave my Fellhound another level. He will eventually be a 60. Alright, the climb continues. Past floor 45. Floor 50 is where the nightmare truly begins. I have to beat the worst boss that you've probably ever seen in the history of this game. BOMMEL 2. A level 180 BOMMEL. Now you might ask, why is this a boss an absolute nightmare? Well, it has bombs that cannot be removed and cannot be transferred. And it does some other really awful things. And it has a lot of stats. But I have a couple tricks up my sleeve to deal with it. One of them is Vogoth. Because Vogoth allows me to tank the bombs to an extent. Another one is I put a double revive setup with Godseeker and Neri. And that setup allows me to do a lot. I'll also use Rosin as a resist aura because he allows me to take less bombs. And then I have a double revive setup with Syl and Godseeker. I'm not going to put Master Butcher in there because he's not leveled enough to do this job. And then Drexstar will be the auxiliary damage. Now, you want to see the secret room first, or do you want me to go straight to the boss? I'm just going to go straight to the boss because I want to prove to you guys how evil this boss is. So I got them controlled. Alright. I have to take Kale out when we get to this boss, because Kale is the bad affinity. And a bad affinity versus this boss is basically rest in peace at floor 50. Like, You literally have to be neutral or positive affinity versus this other boss, or he'll tear you apart. He may still end up tearing me apart, but he will tear you apart 100% if you're a negative affinity. Which is why I have to resort to a special team to take him out. And it is taken me a very long time to make this team. I have to focus this Canderfon. I almost said Cassidon, because he looks like Cassidon from League of Legends. But no, Canderfon. I played a lot of League of Legends in the past. I played like 700 levels of League of Legends. Like, League of Legends I played well before Raid even existed. Alright, we got through that. Next floor. Ooh. Okay, this is bad. What do I want to do? What do they got? Because there's the problem. These are really bad. These, Countess Lixis are really bad. You know what? I'm gonna throw Draco in there. I know it's try hard. But just understand that the game starts to get serious now. Like, I can't just put Valerie in there. She'll get wiped. Like, they stop messing around this floor. I mean, the reason I have Deacon in there is control. That's why I allow him in here. If he wasn't a godlike champ for control, I wouldn't put him in. Like, if I had a Lissandra, I would use a Lissandra here, but I don't. I mean, if I have a defense legendary, I'm going to use it at this point, because I don't want to get wiped. I want to make it to the boss. Okay, they didn't kill him. Good. Because these guys can kill you. They can, like, one-shot you out of nowhere, and you're like, what the hell? Like, it's happened. Like, this is hard. Like, it looks easy, but Deacon is making this, like, easier than it really is, because Deacon allows it so that they can't take much of a turn. Because every turn Deacon takes, like, every time that time compression's up, I'm using it. So the time compression stops them from, you know, running around. On top of that, this is a very tanky team. The squishiest on my team is probably the Deacon. The tankiest is actually the Rosin, although it doesn't look it. Because if you saw, I had like 6-star legendary gear on him, which was pretty nasty. It gives him a lot of power. What? You will eventually if you can get the right faction wars. It takes a lot of being able to do faction wars in order to do it. Like, I have a bunch of different faction wars teams I could show off, depending on what faction crypt is open. Alright. Where are we at? Okay, we're getting close. This is where things start to get even scarier. I know this is going to sound stupid, but I'm actually going to swap Kale back in. Now, there's a reason for it. I need someone that does it's a positive affinity to these enemies. And if I do full negative affinity, I'm going to get wiped. So I'm going to need Kale to deal with these enemies. Or Elhain. So one of the starters, because they have a positive affinity. And of the rares, most of the rares that have the highest damage multipliers are starter champs. I know you might be surprised to hear that, but they have very high multipliers. You just have to have the gear that unlocks it and potentially the Great Hall. Ooh. Okay, I'm going to have to focus the lady on the right, because Blind Seer will revive their entire team if I don't kill her. Okay, good. See, and then you get her to blow the health swap. Because that health swap can kill your whole team. Now we'll focus her down. Good. She doesn't have much resist. Decrease turn meter. Drop it again. Throw that in. Use the bog down. Drop the turn meter again. Can we get past this? These Iron Bragos, by the way, are extremely dangerous. One of them can half health my team if I don't deal with them. And they're also strong affinity versus Rosin, so it makes it harder for me. They have extremely high defense. I would estimate that the Iron Bragos have something between 4,000 and 5,000 defense. Okay. Okay, this is dangerous. I'm gonna need a cleanser. I might need a double cleanser. These enemies are extremely dangerous up here. I mean, I know I make this look easy, but it's not as easy. Because if I make a mistake here, I'm dead. That's the thing. Gotta focus these Shazars, because they will destroy me if I don't focus them down. Focus the Drockle. Oh no, no, that's bad. Gonna focus her down. Cleanse. These enemies are very bad. Like, I gotta focus them down, because if this martyr takes a turn, it could be the end of my team. Okay, thank God. Because you do not want this martyr taking a turn, because she puts counterattack on the entire enemy team. There we go, and okay, which one do I want? Okay, I want to kill the cleanse, and there we go. Now the hardest part of all. BOMMEL. I'm going to want a double revive setup. that. Get that. Drop the turn meter again. Take out the Tomb Angel. Take out the Provoker in the back. This boss is really hard. I might put a Vogoth in here instead, but I'm going to try the double revive setup first. Want to take out... These enemies are very nasty. I'm making them look easy because this is a year team that I assembled, and I still may end up dying. Because the boss up here is really bad. Yeah, I need a Vogoth, I think. Yeah, I need a Vogoth. We're dead. Yeah, bad setup. Okay. So... I'm sorry, I got overconfident. Like, this boss is really bad. Emphasis on bad. Like, when I said the nightmare begins at this boss, I meant it. Like, I felt like I maybe could get away without a Vogoth, and I was wrong. Because I needed something to stop the bombs from killing my whole team before we really had a chance to set up roots. You know? Godseeker I'm using because she's a positive affinity. Or like a neutral affinity, rather. Being void. Because having negative affinity, like Syl, does me no favors. Especially since it puts speed buff. And it turns the speed buff into bombs. Like, it turns almost everything into bombs. This boss. Get the leech. Get decreased defense. Now the real question. Can I survive long enough to actually make an impact on this boss? The real question. Now, I don't want to compress its turn meter, because if I do that, it'll make more bombs. You don't want it to have too many bombs. You do want to keep its defense decreased. Okay, they've removed the Ruinous Crush, which is good for me. It's good because that means that I have a chance of surviving. I might beat this. I might make history, guys. I might be the first person in my clan to beat this. It's looking promising. This is the hardest boss I've ever faced in this game, by the way. This doesn't look hard, but trust me when I say, if I didn't have this team, we wouldn't be even remotely close to beating this. Alright, we're going to have to revive Vogoth. That's fine. Vogoth is core in here. Good. Decreased defense. Get the quest for meaning in there. Can we actually do this? This will be history. This is history in the making. Can we actually do this? Because I don't want to compress its turn meter in case it kills me with that. Okay, we didn't put buffs up. This is it. This could be it. I think this is it. I think. It's it! Yes! Yes! History has been made! Floor 50, Dreadhorde is down! I'm probably the first in my clan to ever do this! Yes! Yes! First in the clan to do it! Let's go! Let's go! I'm sorry. That was like a big deal. That was such a big deal. Yeah. Yeah, I'm just saying, like, that... Like, I'll clear this floor just to burn up my last key. But that... You have no idea how hard that boss is. If I didn't have that, like... All of that had to come together to beat it. I've never beaten that boss before. Every other strategy I've ever tried versus that boss has failed. For like, I don't know how many rotations I've failed at that boss. And been embarrassed because other content creators have beaten it and I haven't. I finally did it. It's finally happened. History has been made. And it took Rosin and Drex and Deacon to get there, but it finally happened. And Godseeker because Syl is negative affinity. Syl just dies. As gross as that sounds. Because that boss takes no prisoners. So it's my last key, and then I'll be off the Doom Tower, because I can't make any more progress until tomorrow, after this floor. But it's almost done, well, I am. Like, I'm going to be posting the video tonight, because that's history. History has been made. I am probably the first person in my clan to beat BOMMEL 2, and live to talk about it. History has been made. And I just got 100 energy for that, which I'll gladly take. There we go. History has been made. I'm in shock. Like, you have no idea how ridiculous of a deal it is to actually